Hi, and welcome to another video of the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. So, um, yesterday, uh, I went over by Pam, give her a break with the kids, and plus she had to get up very early for work today, this morning, and so, I said, okay, come and get me, and we'll go pick up the kids and go to the house. So, uh, you'll see in the video I'm about to show you. Now, I've been in the house for about 3 days. I haven't really gone outside. And so yesterday afternoon was the first day of leaving the house, right? So she called me. She was like, "Hey, I'm almost there. So okay, you know, put my shoes on, grab my book bag, my cane, you know, walking on the block, and then as soon as I was getting close to her car, you start hearing the sirens.
Get this shit,
Okay.
family. Leaving the house after a few days of being in the house, and already you start hearing the sirens and shit. You hear that? Yeah. Start hearing the sirens.
Check this out.
Shit is ridiculous.
You guys can hear it.
Listen to this shit. Listen to this. Listen to this shit.
All right, and move that here.
Look at her. See her do the hand signal? She was waiting behind Pam's car.
Okay, let me go back again. I wanted to pause the video, but
Sirens and shit.
I
You hear that? Yeah. Start hearing the sirens.
I need to move this out of the way.
Shit is ridiculous. Listen to this shit. Listen to this. Listen to this shit.
Okay. Now, this vehicle, all right,
Okay,
this
see her
woman,
do the hand signal?
she
She was waiting
deliberately
behind Pam's car.
deliberately park behind Pam's car. Now she could have went around her, but no, she was there to target me. So as I got to Pam's car, all right, and I'm getting ready to open the door, she does a hand signal. She does this. That's what she does to me, right? Okay, and but I'm like, okay, I'm like, and again, she didn't expect me to be recorded, right? Because when she saw the phone in my hand pointed towards her, okay, she did it real quick, real quick, as she realized, oh shoot, he got his phone recorded. All right, so then you'll see her there. She eventually drove
Being in the
off.
house, and already
Okay,
you start hearing the sirens and shit. You hear that?
so let's replay it again.
Yeah. Start hearing the sirens. Shit is ridiculous. Listen to this shit. Listen to this. Listen to this shit. Look at her. See her do the hand signal? She was waiting behind Pam's car. Trying to do the hand signal. I caught her.
Okay, now I think she had her signal
You start hearing the sirens.
on also, right? And so she was waiting behind Pam vehicle. She had her signal on, her hazard light, and I'm like, she wasn't waiting for anybody because as soon as I got in the car, she drove around Pam and then she left and she turned onto my block. Okay, but again, this is how they use people, and again, this is constant. Um, every single day, it never stops. And they get Pam to target me. So anyway, on our way to go pick up the kids, we picked up the kids, and on our way to her house, we're driving, and I started noticing something. I started noticing all these police cars that were parked, except they were parked facing against traffic. So we're going in one direction, and they're facing the opposite direction, right? And every time Pam stops, like by the light again, some car is exactly where the police is parked up at. All right. So again, these things are very strategically planned, and the police are. And I'm saying to myself, okay, well, why are they parked like that? I mean, particularly when, uh, again, like, it was more than one police vehicle. Like I said, if it was one or two, I can understand. But when if it's a whole bunch parked the same way, like park against traffic, the direction of traffic. Okay, I don't know. Maybe they were reading people's registration on their windshield or what. I don't know. But I started noticing that. Right, I hear the police sirens outside. Okay, because on my way back after I dropped the kids off this morning, they will send me some bit of a message about being quiet. If I talk about what was happening, I'm going to get arrested. So there they go with the police sirens. But anyway, so we finally got to her block, and she got parking. Let me go to the next video. Uh, okay, let me let this one play. I think. Okay, now, all right, now this video now. So after we got parking, and let's go. So after we got parking, uh, there were some young men walking towards us, and they were like looking at my kids, and then looking at her, looking at Pam, looking at my kids, looking at Pam, and I'm just like, okay, are they trying to threaten me or what have you? Or are they trying to or what have you? Or they just usually they send me messages about, oh, we're gonna do something to your kids if you keep talking about this or what have you. And Pam is involved, and she does the same thing too. When I'm in the house with her, she'll come in the living room, look at the kids or look at Ethan, and then look at me, and in a very in a very strange way, right? So anyway, after the three, I think it was three of them, three or four young men walk by. There's this one guy there, so he stands up in the intersection between the where we're going to walk across the street, and he just stands there looking at my kids. And so I was like, okay, so I took up my phone and I started recording. And of course, he has a cigarette in his hands. All right, because this is what they'll do. Sometimes when they're targeting me heavily, they'll send people who have cigarettes in their hand, and every time they pass by me, they will or close to me, they'll take their cigarette and take a puff out of it. Right. So you'll see him standing there. Okay. You'll see him there as he comes. He was standing in the middle of the intersection. I took my phone. He started walking, and he comes and he leans up against the pole here. All right, and you'll see him. Okay, I don't know if you can see him prop. Let me go back a little bit, but basically he's doing this to me. Okay, this is what he's doing. All right, and then he walks off. Okay, so again, this is constant, man. Never stops. And so this morning, I took a cab to take the kids to their babysitter, and then I walked back to the bus, and I'm on the phone with Pam. And I got to the bus stop. I'm like, okay, I'm at the bus stop. I gotta go. And she was like, okay, um, bye, right? So I said, okay, bye. Then she says to me, bye, bye, bye. And I said to her, I said, why do you do that? I said, if you said bye to me, I said bye to you, just hang up. Why? Particularly when I'm being targeted like this, she starts to say stuff like that. And again, it's to play on your emotion, to play on some fear that they think that you have, right? Because again, it's all about emotional manipulation, that something's going to happen to you or what have you and such and such. So they constantly do this. And when we got in the house last night, everything was fine. She wasn't targeting me or anything like that. Everything was cool. And this morning she got up. She's like a whole totally different person. Okay, so what is going on? Like I said, they'll use her in a certain way, and I mean, I guess because I stayed over there, sometimes at night. But again, I sleep on the couch. I don't sleep on the bed for her. I sleep on the couch, and maybe they're trying to. Oh, yeah, I forgot this. So lately, they have been sending me subliminal message about not seeing my a therapist, right? And it's just very, very weird. I haven't seen my therapist in about a few months because I missed two sessions, and then he stopped. Then they stopped sending me notification because I do the uh, video conferencing with my therapist. Okay, so they stopped. So then lately they had sent me a text about my therapy session. So I called. I said, "Hey, how come you guys send me a text, but you didn't send me the link to the therapist?" So she was like, "Oh, it was a mistake." I said, "No, they have not sent me a text about a therapy session in months, months. All of a sudden they start getting this." So she's like, "Oh, it's a mistake by the computer." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And we talked about this in Coercive Persuasion Program. What they try to do is try to do these things, uh, uh, and then act as if it's some type of mistake, or oh, you know what, it's just me. I was so tired. I wasn't really thinking and stuff like that. But again, this is all pre-planned, right? This is all pre-planned in terms of what it is that they're doing. So maybe they don't want me to see a therapist anymore. Okay, maybe they feel that the psychological damage that they've done to me, that somehow they reversed it, right? They fixed it. But again, this is the false thing that they try to push, which is all lies. Because for one, when you do this to someone, you cannot try to undo what you've done. Okay, you can't do it, right? But again, in order for them to avoid accountability for what they've done, they'll try to make up their own rules. And again, those in power will make up their own rules to suit themselves. We know this. There's different sets of rules for people. There's different sets of rules for people in power. Different sets of rules for people who are rich, as opposed to people who are poor, right? So they make up their own rules to suit themselves. And you start hearing the sirens again, right? Okay, this. Now, mind you, I've been in the house for 3 days. Yesterday, prior to me leaving the house, didn't hear any sirens at all. None at all. Okay. So again, and because I'm talking about this, this is what they do. But anyway, as I was saying, so they'll make up their own rules, right? Because that's what they get to do. Because they're the ones that are in charge, right? They're the ones that's in the authoritative position, right? And so we have to understand this, that when they do this to someone, there is no way that you can fix it. Okay? And particularly when it's being continuously done. A person can never heal from any sort of, you can heal from physical injury, but psychological injury you cannot heal from it, particularly if it's being done over and over again every single day. And just because a person may not talk about it, which is what they want you to do as a TI, and not talk about it, right? So they can say, well, he's not talking about it, so hey, it's okay now, right? We haven't really, we can, we don't have to be held accountable anymore, right? Okay. But how many people suffer in silence and end up committing suicide, or end up harming somebody else, right? Harming themselves in some way, whether it be suicide, or attempted, or what have you, attempted suicide, or what have you, right? So again, this is the shit that they try to do, right? And I'm not going to let them get away with it. No. Okay. So, like I said, my job at this time, right now, and prior years before also, is to expose this, right? To tell the truth and expose it for what this is. Okay. This is a criminal organization operating within the government, okay, operating within law enforcement, these religious people who, you know, are police officers or FBI agents or what have you, and feel that uh, they don't have to follow the laws of man, but they have to follow the laws of God. Okay, and the next video I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about this, where you had a police chief who was a pastor, right, whose department, right, feels that because of their religion, that they don't have to follow the Constitution or the laws of the state or the laws of their police department, but their job is to dole out what they call God's wrath, right? So this is what we're dealing with here in America. We've been dealing with this stuff, okay? But when people remain silent, then this is what happens, okay? And people may look at this video and say, "Oh, he's crazy, whatever, whatever." But let me tell you, it could happen to you, anybody that you know. All right. So, you know, like I said, you're never going to shut me up. I'm not going to stop exposing what it is that they're doing. Okay. So they can turn whoever they want to turn against me. That's fine. That's fine. You know, like I said, I'd rather stand alone than stand with people who will sell themselves for money, that will sell each other for money. Okay. That's not me. You can't buy me. You cannot buy my silence. Okay? As simple as that. So, I'll see you guys on the next video. Okay?